Hey guys, it is AlexanderStopmotion here doing a Transformers video review, and today we are taking a look at Transformers Robots in Disguise / Transformers Prime Deluxe Class Bumblebee. Now this is the official release of Bumblebee for Transformers Prime. It's not the first edition, which, yeah, I did, well, I got help from my dad to actually do the kind of head modification, which is so far pretty cool. Yeah, as you can see, it's pretty much the same kind of car as the first edition. It seems to be a little smaller, for a quick size comparison. There's Raph, so not completely great, but still pretty good. And as you can see, he does have his guns on his roof, and he does come with 2 guns, unlike the first edition, which is pretty cool. And also they snap together, so if you had like 2 of these Bumblebees, you could have them like even more weaponized. But you can take them apart, and they both have pegs right there, so I guess you can peg a mech tech on it or something, or peg this onto a mech tech port, or, you know, pretty neat. I'm just gonna leave them together, and they can rotate. Yeah, so if you wanted, you could have them like this, and Bumblebee driving by, just shooting each direction. You know, so you do get some posability, at least for a vehicle, especially with the head modification, because I think the arms don't go in all the way. After I've done it, the first edition Bumblebee does look a little bit better and a little bit more clean than the Robots in Disguise, or RID, whatever you call it. But you can see the mech tech port, or peg, in the engine, which is pretty cool. If you get the Takara one, it does have a few other ones, so if you're a big fan of the whole mech tech gimmick, I think the Takara one is going to be the one that you're going to want to get. But overall, the striping detailing is pretty cool. Just yellow with black stripes, very neat. The whole back section is just yellow, but you know, that's okay. Dark blue translucent windows, dark blue translucent headlights, and not a whole lot. Yeah, and underneath you can see, just like so. I don't really have anything else to compare them to, at least in vehicle. One thing you may notice is the upper door is a different shade of yellow than the whole side of the figure, and basically everywhere else on it, except for the roof. This roof and the upper door, you can tell, are painted, to where the other parts you can tell is molded yellow. Yeah. Not so interesting to you guys probably, but just to let you know. For transformation, basically, let's kind of get in here and fold out his doors. And if you want it, you could have his doors kind of open and have Raph kind of walking into the car, even though it is a little out of scale. But you know, it's still optional, so you get the doors open and get his arms out, legs kind of bent like so, fold them up, fold his feet, and unsnap his legs. And his legs are so much better than the first edition. I really did not like the way the first edition legs for Bumblebee were, just because they were so loose at the knee, and everything on this Bumblebee's so much tighter, and you can see the upper arm popped out. They do pop out a little easy, but you do have to move it a little. Then you can kind of rotate this whole lower section like so, well, his waist at least, and fold this piece like so, and kind of get this out a little bit more so you can put it like so. And basically you see this kind of like the kind of teeth, I guess you can call them. There is a little bit of cut because I got my dad to cut the two last ones off, and I'll show you why. Basically you move this halfway up, then you can move his arms all the way, and his head stays in there quite nicely, and you can see it looks pretty niche. But before it would be something like this, but now you can get it all the way in, and it just looks fantastic. Yeah. So pretty neat, you know. It does move a little bit, but not much. And you can bend his elbows. And there you have Bumblebee in robot form. He does have a little bit of problems, even with the head modification, but not as bad as the first edition, in my opinion. He does have his guns, which you can leave them like this and plug them into his hands, or disassemble them and plug them in each hand if you want it, or keep it all together and put it on one arm. But the way he does have it in the show is the way I'm going to keep it, one on each arm. But what I should say about the head modification is, if you're going to do it, don't be using this guy as a complete play, kind of posing around Bumblebee. If you're getting him to pose and nothing more, I wouldn't really recommend you doing it, because it may break a little easier. I'm not going to say it is going to break. I'm pretty careful when it comes to my figures. But yeah. And I do know a lot of people are complaining that the shoulders are low, but if you do watch the show, they are pretty low. You know. Anyway, yeah. Here he is next to Raph. Pretty nice. You know. Yeah. Just kind of zoom them out a little. Yeah, pretty neat. For size comparison, next to the first edition, which I know a lot of people are going to say it's the first edition's the better Bumblebee. I don't know. I'm not sold on the first edition as much as the Robots in Disguise. The first edition's good. It really is. If you have the first edition and you don't feel like getting another Bumblebee, it's all good. It's just this guy's a little smaller and will fit a little bit more in scale with the other figures. I just find the arms are super loose on the first edition. Even the knees, to where the knees are quite stiff on him, and the doors are much better. Even the head sculpt, you know. But yeah, you can see the Robots in Disguise is a little bit shorter than the first edition. But yeah. Anyway. So yeah, for articulation for Bumblebee, he does have a ball jointed head that goes up and down. I just can't move it that much due to this piece moving now. And he has a very nice hinge arm, and this kind of moves up and down. Then he has like the upper arm movement, turn at the upper elbow, and has a elbow joint. Sorry, it's late and I'm pretty tired. Then you can move them at the no wrist articulation. But oh well. Don't think there's any waist articulation. But he does have a ball joint leg. Pretty nice. Then turn at the upper leg, bend at the knee, and bend at the toe. Now the toe, or the foot, is all one solid piece, which makes it much easier to stand. So you can really get his legs in the kind of crouched position and really make him look good. And I know that's kind of hard to do with the first edition. Overall, I really do like this. Yeah, and the doors just stand out a little bit more than the first edition. For some size comparisons, here he is next to first edition Optimus. Let me just move Bumblebee over here. And you can see, quite nice in scale. Bumblebee should be a little shorter, but I think they could have made Optimus a little taller. And for some other comparisons, here he is next to Wheeljack. Pretty nicely in scale. Wheeljack should be a little taller, you know, because Bumblebee is not the tallest, or he's not the same height as Wheeljack. Let's just move Prime further back, and all that. And for the last comparison, figure I haven't compared much of in any of the reviews, which I haven't been doing often enough. Here's Bulkhead. So Bumblebee and Bulkhead, you know, pretty nicely in scale. Personally, I like it. They all look nice together, at least. I still have to get the Robots in Disguise, Ratchet, RC, Voyager, Megatron Prime, and a few others at least. But I have all the Wave 1. I have all the first edition, except for the Viacon, which is impossible to find. But anyway. So here is Bumblebee from Robots in Disguise. Do I recommend him? Yes, I do. It's not all bad. I know a lot of people don't like this. Really, if they could have done this to begin with, make the head go lower, and basically all they would need to do is make this turn upside down like a swivel joint like the first edition one had, it would be fantastic. And this guy is getting repainted as Hotshot, and he's got the Japanese one, and I believe there's another repaint coming. So they look pretty cool. Until next time, this has been AlexanderStopmotion reviewing Transformers Prime RID Robots in Disguise Deluxe Class Bumblebee, and I give this figure a 9.5 out of 10. Highly recommend it over the first edition one. Till next time, transform and roll out until all are one.